So we start for the today's webinar on good pharmacovigilance practices. So starting with this training on the good pharmacovigilance practices, let's have first of all discuss the definition of what is pharmacovigilance. So in this PPT we will discuss about the what is pharmacovigilance, why pharmacovigilance is important, and what is the good pharmacovigilance practices. In short, it is being abbreviated as GVP. So, good pharmacovigilance practices is abbreviated as GVP. So, generally, the pharmacovigilance is linked with the expert team, then the few of the group of members, then the other regulatory members, then the some of the government officials, then the risk analysis required to be performed, then the main documentation practice to be required, then the obviously it's concerned with the patient and its safety and being followed by the all the doctors. So, what is pharmacovigilance? Pharmacovigilance is defined as the science and activities concerned with the detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention of the adverse reaction to the medicines, basically the ADR. And the ultimate goal of this activity is to improve the safe and rational use of the medicines, thereby improving the patient care and the public health. So why pharmacovigilance is important? When a medicine is released onto the market, there is still a great deal that is unknown about the safety of the product. So once the marketed the medicines are used by the patients who have many different diseases, who are using the several other drugs and who have different tradition and diets which may affect the way of the which they react to a medicine. Generally it is being required just to have a relook into the system about the patient safety, what the patient being taken other medicines, what the diet he follows, everything need to be considered while we are prescribing any medicine to the to the patient, and it is being all the developments being maintained, and all the developments are required to be mainly focused keeping all these things in the mind. So different brands of the medicines may differ in the manner in which they are produced and the ingredients that are used. The adverse drug reactions and poisoning associated with the traditional and the herbal remedies also need to be monitored in each country. The information we receive on the adverse effect of the drug in other countries may not be relevant or applicable to the country citizen. In some cases, adverse effects to certain drugs may only occur in country citizens. So, in order to prevent the unnecessary suffering by patients and to decrease the financial losses sustained by the patient due to the inappropriate or unsafe use of the medicine, it is essential that a monitoring system for the safety of the medicine in country is supported by the doctors, pharmacists, nurses, and other health professionals in the country. So the drug regulatory authorities in the Department of the Health and Essential Drugs program are committed to improving the drug safety through adverse drug reactions monitoring in country through the drug regulatory authority national pharmacovigilance program. Adverse reactions should be reported on a daily basis. So, what is the good pharmacovigilance practices (GVP)? Good pharmacovigilance practices are a set of the measures which were developed to facilitate the performance of pharmacovigilance in the EU or GVP applied to the marketing authorization holders, national regulatory authorities, and the European Medicine Agency (EMA). So generally it is being needed for all the statutory guidelines needs to be followed. So what is the pharmacovigilance plan? Basically, pharmacovigilance plan is a plan developed by a sponsor that is focused on detecting new safety risks and or evaluating already identified safety risks, especially specifically basically a pharmacovigilance plan describes the pharmacovigilance efforts above and beyond the routine post-marketing spontaneous reporting and is designed to enhance and expedite the sponsor's acquisition of the safety information. So, pharmacoepidemiology is the study of the uses and effects of the drugs in and define the population doing the studies needed to provide an estimate of the probability of the beneficial effects of the population or assessing the probability of the adverse cases. So one more word being used in the pharmacovigilance, that is the cohort study. So cohort study is the particular form of the longitudinal study that samples a cohort, a group of the people who share the defining characteristic, typically those who are experienced a common event in a selected period, such as a birth or graduation or the performing a cross section or interval through time. सो ये क्या होता है कि एक ग्रुप होता है जिसके अंदर एक टाइप के लोग एक उसमें हम ग्रुपिंग करते हैं कि उनके अंदर क्या क्या उनकी एजुकेशन है, क्या क्या उनके सिम्टम्स हैं, क्या क्या वो है. Such type of the groups being when examined under the study, this is called cohort study. Then we come to the case control. Basically it is a case control study is a type of the observational study in which two existing groups differing in the outcome are identified and compared on the basis of some supposed causal attributes. So quality by design, the pharmaceutical quality by design is a systematic approach to development that begins with the predefined objectives and the emphasizes product and process understanding and process control based on the sound science and the quality risk management. Then for the most of the products routine pharmacovigilance post marketing requirements under the FDCA or FDA is sufficient for post marketing risk assessment. However, in certain limited instances unusual safety risk may become evident before approval or after a product is marketed. That could suggest that consideration by a sponsor of a pharmacovigilance plan may be appropriate. The development of the pharmacovigilance plan may be useful at the time of the product launch or when a safety risk is identified during the product marketing. FDA recommends that a sponsor decision to develop a pharmacovigilance plan be based on the scientific and logistical factors, including the following: the likelihood, basically that is the quality risk assessment we are just going for the likelihood of the occurrence, then the frequency, and that is the occurrence. Then we come to the detection level, the severity of the patient, the nature of the population at risk, the range and the range of the patient for which the product is indicated, and the method by which the product is dispensed. So these are the factors which are basically concerned mainly taken into the consideration for the quality by design or design space being maintained. A pharmacovigilance plan could include one or more of the following elements, that may be the submission of the specific serious adverse event reports in an expedited manner beyond the routine or required reporting, or submission of the adverse event report summaries at more frequent and prescribed uh, intervals. So active surveillance can be the drug based or setting based or event based. So the drug based, identifying the adverse event in the patient taking certain products, then the setting based, identifying the adverse event in the certain healthcare settings where they are likely to present uh, for treatment, and that may be the emergency or departmental base. And the event base is that identifying the adverse event that are likely to be associated with the medical product. So additional pharmacoepidemiology is the studies, for example, a automated claims database or other database using the cohort. A cohort study is a particular form of the longitudinal study that is samples a cohort, a group of the people who sharing the defining characteristic as discussed earlier, typically those who experience a common event in a selected period, such as birth or graduation. So the case control of the other appropriate study designs to generate the registries of patients with the particular clinical attributes such as the diagnosis or medication or taken in is a central of the measuring and improving the quality of the healthcare. So additional controlled clinical trials as required. So quality by design and new process development, it includes To begin with the target product profile that describes the use, safety and efficacy of the product. To define the target product quality profile that will be used by the formulator and the process engineers as a quantitative surrogate for the aspects of the clinical safety and the efficacy during the product development, and together the relevant prior knowledge about the drug substance potential excipients and process operation into a knowledge space or use risk assessment to prioritize the knowledge gaps of for further investigation. So basically, what is needed for the pharmacovigilance? It is to design a formulation, identify the critical material quality attributes of the final product that must be controlled to meet the target quality product quality profile, and to design a manufacturing process to produce a final product having these critical materials attributes. So to identify the critical process parameters and input materials attributes that must be controlled to achieve these critical materials attributes of the final product. Use risk assessment to prioritize the process parameters and materials attributes for experimental verification. Combine prior knowledge with the experiments to establish a design space or other representation of process understanding. So, in other words, we can say that to establish a control strategy for the entire process that may include the input material controls, process controls, and monitor the design space around individuals or multiple unit operations and or final product tests. The control strategy should encompass expected changes in the scale and can be guided by a risk assessment. So continually monitoring and update the process to assure the consistent quality design of the experiments, that is called DOE, and the risk assessment and the process analytical technology PAT are the tool that may be used in the quality by design process when appropriate. So these are not checkbox requirements, these are the some basic requirement for the pharmacovigilance. So here this one is the picture where you will find that the ICH-Q9 is the pharmaceutical quality risk management guideline. So it is being all over being considered as a basic requirement for the any of the pharmacovigilance. All the risks are required to be well evaluated before the any medicine is targeted to the market. So first of all, the regulatory filing is there, the stage 1 is there, then the process design, then the stage 2 is the process characterization, then the continued process verification, and then it comes to the ICH Q8, Q11 and ICH Q10. So ICH Q10 is basically for the quality, and the ICH Q8 and Q11 are concerned for the development, and all are these are concerned with the pharmaceutical quality system, that is ICH Q9. So in EU regulations also you will feel this is the picture or image there, the EU regulatory points of the view on the integration of the different ICH quality concepts. There is a quality system, there is a quality risk management, and there is a pharmacological development basically. So you will find all the pharmacovigilance development are basically is the which having a common area about the quality risk management, then the existing GMP system and the regulatory, everything it should be confined in the pharmacological development, basically pharmaceutical development. So and everything should be covered with the quality risk management. So quality risk management is the trigger, so that basically required for any of the pharmacovigilance, that is the main requirement we may say. So then we come to the QBD ultimately helps to implement the Q8 and Q9, and FDA's view of the QBD is the QBD is a systematic approach to the product and the process design and development. Furthermore, following are the requirements we say product quality and the performance can be assured by designing efficient manufacturing processes. Product and process specification are based on the scientific understanding of how the process factors affect product performance, and the risk-based regulatory approaches are for scientific understanding and control related to the process for the product quality and the performance. So regulatory related regulatory policies and the measures are modified to accommodate the real time scientific knowledge, and the quality assurance is the continuous process in all the way, and the underlying principles of the QBD science and the risk based product development, risk assessment, life cycle approach, and the method design are explained in the quality guideline of the International Conference on Harmonization. So basically ICH Q8, Q9 and the Q10. This is ICH Q8 is the pharmaceutical quality development, pharmaceutical development. ICH Q9 is the quality risk management, and ICH Q10 is the pharmaceutical quality system. So it covers all this. So in risk management, you are having the design space, then the quality test parameter QTPPP is there, then the CQ and CPP are there, analytical control strategy is there, and everything is covered under the process monitoring and the continual improvement, and everything, all these are together are comes under the risk management. So this is the ICH Q9 guideline. So pharmacovigilance, another thing is there, the mechanism of the action, criticality, structure, process knowledge, everything CQA that must be, CQA means the critical quality parameters and the attributes which are required to be monitored during the process of the manufacturing as well as the development of the medicine. So must be considered in the overall control strategy, and the attribute that might not need to be considered to the overall control strategy. Then it comes to the, first of all, this is the first chamber, first rectangular shape is the basically for the pharmaceutical development. Then we come to the unit operation GMP point of view, operating parameters, then the raw materials, risk assessment need to be assessed, and then the unit operation design space, process characterization had to be there, and the control strategy of the overall assessment need to be in plan. And then finally we come to the control strategy elements, that is the raw material process controls, what are the process controls are there in the development or the while manufacturing the medicine. So procedural controls and the operating ranges, process qualification. Then we come to the testing in process, specification, characterization, comparability, stability, everything we need to monitor. Then comes to the continuous improvement throughout the product life cycle. Product quality can be improved through the product life cycle. The, opportunities to opt the inventive process to improve the quality process performance can be monitored to make sure consistency in quality. Additional experience and knowledge is gained during the protein manufacture, which contributes to method process development. Periodic maintenance can be done within a company's own internal quality system, but design space should be unchanged. The QBD approach avails the continuous improvement throughout the product's life cycle. This is a distinguishing point from the conventional method, which is much frozen process. So then we come to the pharmacovigilance. There is a TPP, target product profile is there, early product development stages are there, then the quality target product profile QTPP is there, then the provisional CQ and CPP assessment there, then the process development, design space development reports, and finally the with risk assessment there is a control strategy. So life cycle approach is basically, life cycle approach differs from that of the traditional approach of the method development. According to the Moorfield, it includes the continuous improvement of the method performance, and the design space allow the flexibility for the continuous improvement in the analytical method can be done without prior regulatory approval because of the design space made previously. Mark is the one of the author who had given this definition. So knowledge gained from the risk assessment and data collected from the design of the experiment can be used as a repository of the knowledge of the make justified changes wherever required. So a complete process analytical method development in QBD environment is summarized in the following flowchart. So in this flow chart we are having the analytical target profile ATP, what, where and when to measure, and then we come to the technique selection, method performance criteria is there, risk assessment, then the assess the risk of the method parameters, use of the risk assessment tools, FMEA, Pareto analysis, everything need to be considered. Then we come to the method development validation, DOE or design space is there. Then we come to the define control space, meet the method performance criteria, and finally the continual improvement, monitor the method performance through which the medicine is manufactured. So while preparing this PPT, we have taken the references from Drug and Cosmetic Act, WHO technical report, supplementary guidelines of the WHO GMP and the WHO GMP process validation requirements guideline on the GMP, and the few others IC quality guidelines. So that's all. Thank you very much.